Yep, we're back on the steam room.
Wow.
Look at you.
I gotta admit, I'm pumped today. This is the beginning of the end, America. There's nowhere to go but down from here.
Yeah, I mean, when you have TB12,
yes,
the 7-time Super Bowl champion and the executive producer of The Match, which you will see the day after Thanksgiving on TNT, Tom Brady joining us. We can't thank you enough. Number one, a mid-season appearance on a podcast for as busy as a guy like Tom Brady is. This is very big, and we only have one rule, Tom, on the steam room, and please keep your towel on.
Always.
All right. Hey, so it's a Tuesday for an NFL quarterback, but you don't play till Monday. So is this a day off, or what are you doing today?
No days off, bonus days. That's what we call them. So a little extra time. Normally you guys would get me in a better mood because, we're coming off a win, but we've had 2 straight losses. So I'm kind of pissed the last few days. It's been a long couple of weeks, not winning, but we're in there early this morning trying to figure it out. It's nice to get a little break in the day, take my mind off football a little bit and talk about some other fun stuff.
How many times have you lost 2 games in a row in your entire career?
I don't know the answer to that.
Not often.
Yeah. No, not often, but I'd say I haven't lost 3 in a row since about 2001. So I don't plan. We got to put our stuff together. It's football, so it's a lot like basketball. I mean, all these sports are tough, man. You play against other really competitive teams, and margins of error thin, and we got to do more things right than we've been doing them. So we got to clean some stuff up. We'll get there.
I got a question about that against Washington. So you lose the game to Washington. Your post game lasts a little more than a minute, and it's like, okay, that's it. Bruce Arians talks about, the stupidity has to go away and that kind of thing. I mean, he doesn't hold anything back. Does that ever come up on a Tuesday when you say, hey, I heard what you said about, or is that just, hey, that is said in a post-game press conference and we leave it at that?
No, I think when you're the head coach, you pretty much say whatever you want. Head coach voicing his frustration after a game, and we all have frustrations after a game. And I think we all have close enough relationship with him where, when he says certain things, we all listen and we want to respond to those things. So in a positive way, not, respond like to him. He's right. There was a lot of things that we did really dumb. That was the truth. And sometimes I don't think pro athletes like to hear the truth, especially in today's day and age. We like to be told how great we are. And after every win, you get texts, you guys are the best, and where you at in the power rankings, and you know what I mean? At the end of the day, none of it matters. What matters is what we think as a group. And, you got 53 guys that got to come together, and you got coaches that got to come together. And Chuck would like him as a head coach because BA is pretty unfiltered. He kind of cuts it loose. So a lot like Chuck.
Hey, I love BA. I got to know him when he was coaching in Arizona. It was one of the highlights. One of my friends said, I need to meet BA. We went out to dinner, and we stay in contact. He's great. Tom, what is the TB12 method?
I started about 8 years ago, a real formal business. It was all based on kind of how I prepared and all the things I'd learned in order to take care of myself so that I wasn't in pain all the time. It started with my relationship with the guy I still work with today, who's my business partner. He's like a brother to me. He's my body coach, Alex Guerrero. And for my entire playing career, I was in pain, elbow pain, early part of my playing career, high school, college, early part of my pro career. And Willie McGinnis introduced me to Alex and said, hey, if you want to have a long career, you better start working with him. And it was all about preventative treatments in order to avoid pain and really help me improve my recovery. And even now at 44, I think our routine is just more diligent, and it's really based around the manual body work I get, which is a lot of really deep force muscle work. So for example, I'll throw a lot of footballs on game day. We'll make sure those muscles are not tight, basically, and they're unrestricted for movement. So I think a lot of basketball players probably go through that with their quads, their hamstrings, their calves, their Achilles. I mean, all those injuries are preventable. Achilles tears, non-contact ACLs, muscle strains, if you do the work in advance. And I think beyond football, that's one thing I'd really like to teach a lot of people, because it's really difficult for me to watch so many guys not reach their potential because they're in a lot of pain, suffering injury. And then like the chronic injuries, I watch, God rest his soul, Kobe Bryant at the end of his career, it was 2 ice bags on his knees, an ice bag on his shoulder. We could help a lot of those things if we did, a lot more preventative maintenance and really help guys' recovery.
Tell me about the new documentary. They've been teasing it for the last couple of weeks, and it looks amazing. Tell me about it and what you were trying to say.
Yeah, what I was trying to say was, I've had a lot of people tell stories about, the team, the Patriots and years, and so many people get a chance to write things without having a lot of knowledge about it. That's the reality. And, there's a lot of stories that we as players get to tell that, we're not able to tell because we're not in control of what's being said. And, I wanted things done from my standpoint because I was in the locker room, I was in all the meetings, and I wanted my teammates to be really involved too. And a lot of people compare it to Michael's, The Last Dance. It's not that. What I believe they'll take most from it is what really amounts to winning and why do people win consistently and successfully. And the culture of winning and the culture of greatness is built by a lot of different people. A lot of people played a part in it. Amazing coaches, obviously, amazing players that get to tell really great stories about how particular teams reach their highest potential. And then what, in the end, we took from the wins and the losses of our Super Bowl season. So it's really cool. It's a great inside look at a lot of things that people have never heard, never seen. Everyone's, I think, really going to enjoy it. It was really fun for me to do.
It's called Man in the Arena on ESPN+. I don't know if this is discussed in the course of Man in the Arena, but take me back to draft night in 2000, and your pick 199. What stands out about that night? What are the memories of that night? And how did that night make you the player and the person you are now?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of those little things that happen over the course of time. That was a big thing at that moment because I thought, man, I'm pretty good, man. I went to Michigan. We were good. I'm going to be a first, second, third round pick, and, they didn't see it that same way. So I think the rounds kind of kept going, and it's very different, the NFL draft in 2000 now. Now everything, is pomp and circumstance. By the time I think it was Sunday afternoon comes, that's when they started announcing picks in the 6th round. And I was just sitting there going, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to pick, anyone's going to pick me at this point. I thought I had a pretty good college career. And then, ultimately, when I got picked by the Patriots, it was the best possible place for me to go. When I reflect back on that time with perspective, there's no better place for me to go. And Coach Belichick, it was his first year there. It was his opportunity to become a head coach again. And I went into a situation with Drew Bledsoe, who was a great veteran pro quarterback who was playing at a high level. And I got a chance to sit there and learn from him. And it was a new system. It was a lot of newness for everybody. So everyone was kind of learning the same things at the same time. And I think I really embraced that opportunity to compete. And I said to Mr. Kraft, and the story's kind of well told. He always says, I told him when I first met him, hey, I'm Tom Brady. I'm the greatest decision, the organization ever made. I never said that. I'm sure I would never even come out of my mouth. I said, you'll never regret picking me. And I just meant, look, whatever you invest in me, I'm gonna make sure that it pays off for you. And I believe it did. It's we had a great 20 years together, and 20 great years for me to learn and really grow up personally and professionally. And I look back at that time, and it was some magical moments in my life.
Tom, what does your dad mean to you?
Man, my dad is the guy that, everything I did, I tried to grow up and be like my dad. And my dad is an amazing man, supports me to this day. I had 3 older sisters, and, my dad was, he kept trying for that son, and he finally got a son. I think he just wanted someone to go out there on the golf course with. And, he and I would sneak away to go play when we wanted to get out and be together. He was just a great role model for me. And he was always there. I think my parents, and I always tell this to a lot of young parents, I said, don't ever limit like what your kids can do. Sometimes as a parent, you always want to tell them, hey, I want to be a pro football player. Yeah, that's great, but we should think about some other things too if that doesn't work out. My parents were like, yeah, let's go for it. Let's go. What do you want to do? And I want to go learn how to throw the football. So we went to the College of San Mateo, which is a small school, a small community college in San Mateo. and I learned how to throw the football there. And then my junior year in high school, I was like, I want to go to football camps, Dad. All right, let's take you down to the Arizona football camp. Wherever I could throw the football, I was going to go. And it was never, that's really hard to do. He never put a limit on it for me. And I think if there was any parents out there listening, like, don't ever limit your kids. Let the kids just dream as big as they want, because you never know. I got to live my dream. And I think I never thought that I wouldn't. It was very naive of me, because not a lot of people do in the situation I was in. But at the same time, I never would have done that if someone would have said, hey, think about a plan B. I never thought about a plan B. I just went for it, Mach 3 with my hair on fire to be the best I could be.
Talking to my friends who got young kids, what was the best thing about your kids and the worst thing about your kids during the pandemic?
The best part was I got all the time in the world around them. And the worst part was I got all the time in the world around them. So there was a lot of shut up, like the kids. I'm working, I got stuff to do, So I think part of it was amazing to have us all together. We were together for like every meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And at the same time, they were here every day, so it was a lot of Groundhog Day for a lot of us. A lot of families kind of got, we were all together all the time.
Well, listen, Tom, I just want to thank, I know you're a busy man. I can't wait for the man in the arena. TB12, keep doing your thing, man. You're awesome, obviously, a person. I tell people, you and Wayne Gretzky are the two most humble goats I've ever been around, man. Just thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, man. Again, I'm just huge fan of everything you guys do. And I think your camaraderie between you two and Shaq and Kenny and just even on this show is awesome. It's fun for people to see, man, because life is so serious for everyone all the time, as we know. And it's nice to see people laugh and joke and, say how they feel. And I think that brings a lot of levity to life, because, there are definitely serious moments, but at the same time, every moment's not that way. And you guys just do a great job inspiring everyone else to, communicate, not always agree on everything, but, enjoy being around each other as well. So keep it going.
Thank you.
Very, very much appreciate that, Tom. It's all fake, by the way. But hey, have a great Thanksgiving, all right? And again, we appreciate you being so generous with your time. Thanks, man.
Have a great Thanksgiving, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Deep fried turkey?
You can't. No.
That'd be the day to do it.
All right, man. We'll talk to you.
All right. Thank you.